operations. We can get the thoughts now of former US Congressman Ron Paul, who joins us. Ron, good to have you on the programme again. Thanks for coming on. What are your thoughts?
All right, well, thank you.
What are your thoughts over Australia's decision to halt its combat missions?
I think that's good. They may be wising up. I wish we would do the same thing, you know, just come home. It just makes no sense. It's a mess over there. There's so many people involved. I think the neighborhood ought to take care of it, and we've gone too far away from our home. And it's been going on for too long, and I think it all started with Obama. In 2011, he says Assad has to go. And now, as the conditions deteriorate, you know, and the battle seems to be, it's all about Raqqa, Yes, it looks like Assad and his allies are winning, and now they don't want, the United States does not want them to, you know, take Raqqa, and this just goes on and on. So I think it's really still the same thing that Obama set up. Get rid of Assad. It's time for Assad to go. And there's a lot of frustration, of course, because Assad's still around. And now it's getting very, very dangerous. It's dangerous on both sides. The one thing that I'm concerned about, because I've seen it happen so often over the years, are false flags. Some accident happens. Even if it's an honest accident, or it's deliberate by one side or the other to blame somebody, and before they stop and think about it, then there's more escalation. So when our planes are flying over there and into a space where we shouldn't be, and setting up boundaries and saying, don't cross these lines or you'll be crossing over our territory. Well, we have no right to do that. So that's why I stick to my position, which as a libertarian is that we ought to mind our own business. We shouldn't be over there. When we go over there and decide that we're going to take over, it is an act of aggression, and I'm positively opposed to that. I think most Americans are too, if they would get all the information they need.
I mean, we were listening to the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister also recently, and he said the downings actually helped the terrorists in Syria. A fair comment, do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because, and I think even though that wouldn't be an announced purpose, I mean, it ends up doing that, but I think, you know, because the terrorists supposedly are going to help the United States get rid of Assad. So it's still back to Assad getting rid of Assad. You know, a temporary arrangement, sometimes they'll do that. Obviously, we did that in Afghanistan. We aligned with the radicals for our position there. So I think that that is not unusual, but I think it's dangerous. I don't think it represents a policy that's good for the United States, nor good for peace. I don't think there's any easy solution. Even if we walked away there, there's still going to be a lot of problems, but I just don't see why we should stay and pay and lose lives. We've been in Afghanistan 16 years, and now we're into many years in Syria, and it's a hotbed. So I will continue to argue the case for us to mind our own business and not to act aggressively against anybody.
And what are your thoughts? I don't know if you were listening to a press conference. You might not have been able to listen to it, but Sergei Lavrov was speaking just a few minutes ago, and he said he wanted to ask his US counterpart why America or the US-led coalition isn't targeting al-Nusra in Syria. What sort of answer do you think he'll get, if any at all?
Well, I think it'll be wishy-washy. He'll probably think it's in their interest not to do anything to damage the radicals, the extremists, the rebels, because I think our government thinks that they can be helpful in undermining Assad. But I don't think they're going to say, oh, yeah, they're our buddies now, and we consult with them all the time. It won't be that. They'll argue, well, we have to help the Kurds out or something along those lines and make excuses. But no, I think there's a net benefit, you know, to the radicals for us to get involved there, and is not helpful, you know, in the long run for our position, which ought to be try to help bring about peace, you know. But there's the propaganda that the American people hear is such that they get them, you know, pretty excited about it. But I'm very confident that if the American people had more information, because when I talk to them, they side with my arguments that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be doing what we're doing. And that's why I persist on trying to get to the facts, but trying to eliminate the danger, try to obey international law, try to do the things that are in our best interest. And if we're talking about America's interest, it isn't helped by our policy in the Middle East for the last 15 or 20 years. I think it's all been negative.
Sure. OK, look, Ron, we have to leave it there, unfortunately. But thanks for your time tonight. That was former US Congressman Ron Paul. Thank you.
Thank you.